Well, this is about Bath and United Kingdom falling to the 15-minute neighbourhood thing. Now, it starts gently, and it started quite a while ago. Now, a little bit of history on Bath. Obviously, it's a Roman city, isn't it? Yeah. However, unfortunately, since then, it's been really heavily populated. It's all up and down Dale, and some of the streets to get round in a vehicle were a nightmare. So they started years ago to start changing this. Now, I did white goods delivery there, and it was a pain in the backside, no other way. But since then, I went on to Class 1 work, and at that time, they were slowly making it more difficult for you to make your way through. They then made some of the bridges weight limited, which stopped you coming from one side off the M4 all the way through. You'd use Bath to get through to get to the other part coming out the other side. We can't do that now. And they've also put charge zones going through there and clean air zone stuff. This has been there a while. Not that I knew anything about it, and went steamrolling through it with a gigantic double-decker trailer. Oh well. Anyway, since then, they've now got plans apparently to turn it. Let's have a quick look here, and I shall move the camera. Let's have a gander. Bath locals say new traffic management plans would be commercial suicide. Yeah, that sounds about right. They've got a picture here, which hopefully I'll put up somewhere around. A plan is proposing an idea which you would see the city split into 4 cells, as you would expect. Bath locals had a thing or two to say about the council's new journey to net zero. Get the right camera side. The idea with this journey to net zero is literally get everybody back on Shanks's pony. That's an old-fashioned terminology for walking, by the way. It says proposed, among other things, that the city centre would be split into 4 cells and there would be no through traffic in the city. This isn't going to do the city any good for many reasons. The lorries have to go miles and miles around because there's so many weight limits around that area that you can't just take the next direct route. You have to go all the way around. So you would have to come out, say, for instance, you'd have to come off the motorway at Bristol, come through it that way, or you'd have to come from right round the houses, Chippenham and all the way back through, come in that way, or you would have to come in from the other side of the motorway. Either way, this is actually going to use a lot more fuel with lorries, but they want to look like they're doing their bit. And actually, it turns out they're copying a city somewhere abroad, but we'll get to that. So anyway, there will only be 1 or 2 access points on each of the outer boundaries for vehicles, and they will be prevented from passing from one prison cell, to another. Although movement for pedestrians, cyclists, and public transport will be unrestricted. What it actually says in here is that this place that they're modelling the idea on is flat. It has trams and it has a ring road. Bath doesn't have this. Drawing its inspiration from Ghent, G-H-E-N-T, a World Heritage City in Belgium, that in 2017 stopped traffic from crossing its centre. Critics pointed out that unlike Bath, it is largely flat and has a ring road and a great tram network. I suppose if Bath had that, and the trams were running all the time and were easy to hop on and hop off, and you could drive around the ring road, then it wouldn't be any great bother for a lorry driver, and to be quite frank, it would make no great odds. However, they're still cutting that place into 4, ready for the 15-minute neighbourhoods. But they're going around it a bit slight. So there you go. So it says it will look into a mass transit system within Bath, but is it financially viable? No. So this is it. You're going to go and just literally going to dice up all of these cities. Which will be next? Bristol? All of these cities and all of the big spaces are going to be carved up. And they're not going to have you moving around. And I did a video on it the other day. I did a short about the fact of the matter is the parking situation in certain places is made so difficult that if you're an old person or a technophobe, the chances are you'll get it wrong or you'll give up. Now, a further update is I think I paid for that parking twice. That's a rip-off. But if I hadn't have been so persistent and wasted half hour, right, the chances are I would have ended up with a fine. And that's what a lot of old people and people who haven't got a smartphone or people, and I mean, there are people out there these days that don't have smartphones. But this is, we will get you off those cars. We will get you away from those cars. We will take all of these things slowly away from you and your ability to move around like a free man, which you're not. I mean, obviously, the illusion of democracy and freedom in this country is a great illusion, but the reality is very different. They can literally stop you from doing whatever it is they want, whatever they want, under rules and regulations and notices and all sorts of other things. I mean, take, for instance, Base Welshman would be a great example of this. Hi, Based, if you're watching. Probably in my Discord at the moment, cause mischief. But links in the description. But he used to go to places and they would try and send you away with a dispersal notice. You hadn't done anything. They just don't want you there. So they write you a notice and that was it for the day. You had to jog on. But there were other ways around it. Now, I'm for less government, but the government has stopped listening. Now, I believe, I think it was Canterbury or somewhere like that. They put this plan in and they put it to the vote. And I think from what Base was saying, nearly 97% of them said, jog on, we don't want this. And they went, well, you're having it anyway. So what was the point in even giving them the vote? I mean, if you don't give them a vote, at least they could say, oh, well, we weren't given the vote. But when you were given the vote and they went, well, what you say doesn't matter, we're going to do it anyway, it kind of paints the picture that this was a foregone conclusion that you have no say in. And if you have no say in anything that happens within your towns or cities, and if the government that's meant to serve you is actually your owner, then where are we? Because that is the question. Many of us are under an illusion, and we keep going back to the factory reset. And I do, like anybody else, you think, oh, we should vote them out. Really? If voting made a difference these days, we wouldn't be allowed to do it. Now, they change rules to suit themselves. They're pushing an agenda that none of us want, and yet we still have it. We still go along with it. So what do? Go and have a look for yourself. It's on Somerset Live. Hopefully I'll have shoved a map up. There's going to be a lot more content on all the other channels, all right? The links are in the description. And if you want to support this channel, great. The links are in the description for that. I also did a live stream earlier on explaining about the changes that I and other YouTubers will have to make because of the new terms of service. Go and see that. And yeah, chin up, mate. It's a new year. What could go wrong, right? Never mind. I'll see you in a bit.